Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and we stop halfway through for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. You liked it, so we spun it off. We're at 110. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out. We ask for questions. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted, and we start the show.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Looking at the Lexus IS 500. There are not many around, but I'm thinking about purchasing one out of state. I've owned two IS 350s. What's your opinion? I know it's not a true F car. Do they handle similar to the IS 350? We actually don't love the IS 500 that much. We didn't really like the transmission in that model. And frankly, I'm not sure I would pay extra for it. Sure, it's got a 5-liter V8 with 472 horsepower, and the IS 350 is a V6, but there's a $15,000 difference between the IS 350 F Sport 3 and the IS 500.
On paper, you go, oh, hell yeah. You know, it's all that Andrew just mentioned, the V8. It's got a great sound to it. The handling part, they're very similar, so I wouldn't buy it based on handling. And if you're going to buy it based on power, well, it doesn't give you the kick in the pants that you would expect, and it all comes down to the transmission. So 6-speed with the V6 models and an 8-speed with the V8. But the problem with the transmission is it always wants to go up to the highest gear possible to affect fuel economy. But then when you ask it to, do something, it's very lazy to downsteer. So you really have to drive it in manual mode to make it feel like what you're paying for. So go get another 350.
And that's what people say about the IS 500 is they do drive it in manual mode, and it's no problem for them. But I just don't think it's worth the extra dollars. I think get the IS 350.
Get the IS 350, put it in manual mode, and drive the bag off it. There you go.
Considering Mazda CX-30, but can't decide turbo or non-turbo. Have only driven turbo, so don't know if I'll miss it. Are turbos less reliable?
Okay, we're going to do 3, 2, 1. So the answer is either turbo or non-turbo. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Non-turbo. Here's a quick story. So we got the CX-30 and we didn't check the specs. We had just picked it up and then we were going to look at the specs later. And we're driving around. We got right to it, started doing our drive-bys and car to car.
And I'm whenever we do the drive-bys, I have my earbuds in so I can tell Andrea, okay, it's clear now. There's no pedestrians. Drive by, and she's driving us. Oh my God, I love this.
I said, this turbo is terrific. Then we get home, we look at the specs. It's the non-turbo.
I said
191 horsepower.
Because I picked the car up, I said, I don't think it's the turbo. I think it's just the regular one. And it fools you. And listen, it's so much more expensive to get the turbo.
Yeah.
It uses way more gas.
Yeah. And so if you want to get the most out of that turbo, that 250 horsepower, you have to use premium fuel. But 227 on regular, so you can use regular with the turbo. But the non-turbo's got 191 horsepower. And the thing is, it's small. Mm-hmm. So you're just kind of bombing around town and it handles the corners beautifully. I'd go non-turbo and save a few bucks.
3, 2, 1, get the non-turbo.
Hi guys, what vehicle are you looking forward to driving the most this fall? Keep up the great content. What are you looking forward to driving?
Well, I know we've got some trips booked. One we can't say. We're going to drive something, but we can't tell you what it is. I would say probably the one that's going to get the most attention will be the 4Runner. I think the 4Runner is going to be kind of fun to drive. I don't even know what's coming in the fall. Oh, we're going to drive the ID Buzz eventually. So that's the electric van from Volkswagen. So I don't know. Every week there's 2 new cars. So let's just keep them coming.
I'm looking forward to the 4Runner. I'm looking forward to the CX-50 hybrid.
Explorer.
Yeah, Explorer. I hope we get that eventually. So the CX-50 hybrid from Mazda.
Yes, that one for sure.
That one I'm excited about to see how it compares to Toyota hybrid since it is using a Toyota hybrid system. I'm also looking forward to the Kia K4. We saw it at the New York Auto Show. It looks really good. I know it's a sedan, but I was really impressed with just the interior quality as well as the exterior design.
So it's not this fall, but it's going to be this spring, is the Forester hybrid. So Mazda is bringing out the CX-50. Forester will go hybrid using some elements of the Toyota Synergy drive.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to drive those to see how successful they are at that.
And how about the ID?
What's the number one, Andrea? We missed it. The
What
number
is it?
one
What is it?
is the Civic hybrid.
Yeah, well, I've kind of forgotten about that one because everybody's driven it.
We're
We're
waiting.
supposed to get it in the press fleet in
You know what?
September. I am looking forward to that one. I like the Civic.
But here's the thing that's so frustrating. It's made in Canada. We are in Canada, and there might be a rail strike, but there's trains that come all the way across the country. We could have driven it across faster.
The RAV4 hybrid is made in Canada too, and you can't get one of those. So, I wonder what's going on here.
Yeah.
The ID Buzz, super excited about it. I think it's going to have this great road presence. We drove in one, didn't drive it, but sat in it in Europe, and it was really comfortable. I'm a little bit taken aback by the pricing that was just announced by Volkswagen, starting at 77,000 Canadian MSRP.
My head is
for
spinning.
rear-wheel drive and 82 Canadian for all-wheel drive.
What are they?
In the U.S., I think it's around 60,000 for the rear-wheel drive.
Okay, people are going to want the all-wheel drive. It's going to be 82 grand. The most expensive Volkswagen you can buy is going to be the ID Buzz. Back to my point I always make. Oh, it's just another plaything of the upper middle class. Yeah. It's going to be driven around by people who live in big houses in nice neighborhoods and go, look at me, I'm driving the newest electric vehicle. That is not going to be mass appeal in any way.
You will look cool when you're driving
You'll look cool.
But yeah, it's really, really expensive. I kind of thought it would start at the top trim Atlas, but it's
way past that.
don't know.
Do we have anything about Cybertruck coming up in questions?
No.
Oh, because I have a great line I've come up for Cybertruck.
Well, just use it.
Can I use it?
Yeah,
Do you
just
guys want
do
to
it
hear
now.
my Cybertruck line? I've told
Do it.
Andrea this. Am I kind of right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Cybertruck is goofy looking, right? We can all agree on that. Now, some people love it because it's goofy looking and they're like, look at me, I'm driving something goofy looking. So my prediction is in like 3 years, we are going to look at people who drive Cybertrucks because most of them are not pickup truck drivers. They just want this because it's the thing. But it's not really for pickup truck buyers. They go and buy real trucks. They're going to be looked at the same way we look at people who wear those True Religion jeans, you know, with the horseshoe on the back. Like it was also.
If you're still wearing them, we're sorry.
We apologize.
Yeah,
but
we're sorry.
you know, back in 2015, everybody was going to those True Religion stores and putting them on and look, I got my $400 jeans on. And now if you wear them, you're like, look at them, they're wearing. I think it's going to be kind of like that.
They're pretty busy. They're pretty busy jeans.
So do you agree with me? Do you think we're going to look at the people who have bought all these Cybertrucks who don't need a pickup truck and go, what the hell were you thinking?
This is what I think Elon Musk should have done. He should never have put out, a mid-size pickup truck.
Oh, full size. It's huge.
Okay, full size. What he should have done is produced an EV pickup truck the size of the Maverick and priced it at Model 3 pricing or even a little bit less.
They would have sold like crazy.
Oh my gosh, they wouldn't have been able to keep it in
You know what,
stock.
Andrea?
Elon, you should have called me. I've got some good ideas.
Andrea, just this morning on Automotive News,
Yeah.
do you know what I read?
What?
Ford Motor Company has ditched their plans for their 3-row 7-passenger EV.
Smart.
And they're putting the money towards a mid-size electric pickup truck.
Yeah.
So Ford already crushing it with Maverick. The Ranger sells incredibly well. F-150 bestseller, period.
Yeah.
And now they're going to come with an electric version of maybe Ranger size.
Yeah, exciting.
Or maybe it might just be an electrified Maverick. I don't know. But that's what, and it's going to be here by 2027.
And do you know, the Canadian PR team sent us some information when they released the 2025 Maverick all-wheel drive model. And they said, obviously, that's what consumers wanted. Hello, we were talking about that a lot. But also, did you know that 60% of Maverick buyers have come from another brand? That's a pretty high number.
That's what they call conquest, right?
Yep.
So if you can conquest somebody away from a brand, companies spend billions of dollars marketing cars. Like a perfect example is, getting somebody out of a Ford and into a Chevrolet.
Yes.
You have to use dynamite to get them out of that,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
To get somebody to go from a Mercedes to a BMW is very expensive to conquest them. So the fact that Ford was able to do that just by introducing a new product, good on them.
Now, I've skipped ahead and I'm going to this next question
Good.
because it is about the Ford Maverick. Hi, guys. Should I wait for the 2025 Ford Maverick or see if I can squeeze a deal on the 2024? Still haven't seen a Canadian release date. Love the show. Thank you.
Or the pricing. We don't have the pricing.
No, and I think the pricing, they did release the pricing, did they?
No, they did not.
Maybe not. I can't remember.
It's going to
We
be
get
spendy.
so many press releases. Okay, so good thing about the 2025 model, obviously all-wheel drive. I think that it's going to have better resale value, the all-wheel drive model. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get the larger 13.2-inch touchscreen. And it has some tweaks to the front. I'm not sure I love the front of the 2025
I think it looks
model.
good. The other one,
Zach doesn't mind it.
the other
I
one
like
kind of
the
looked
other
like a
one.
pug, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's slightly better, and they've got the new Tremor version.
They do.
They've got funkier colors. I mean, they know they've got a hot commodity, so they've spiced it up. And
Yeah.
I think that the only one that they sent pictures of was the green one.
I don't even know if you can get a 2024 model in Canada of the Maverick and get a deal. It is just such a popular choice. If you can do it, great.
There will be people that put the brakes on and say, I want the one with the all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out to me, Jerome from Quebec, who emails me all the time, and he said, oh, I saw your future and you're going to get the all-wheel drive Maverick. You're going to get one. And I was like, I don't really need that. For what I want, I want the cheapest pickup truck. I love having a pickup truck. We got rid of our Tacoma, and 2 weeks later we had to get rid of a mattress. I had to pay some guy $120 to ship away the mattress. And I said, I just got rid of my Tacoma. He goes, oh man, it happens all the time. So I miss having a pickup truck. So I would love to have a Maverick. For what I use it for, a front wheel drive one, cheap as chips. Give me a cheap one, and it's great on gas.
There's going to be leases of Mavericks anyway. That front-wheel drive model, you could get one that's 3 years old, Zach. I mean, that's all you really need.
That's what I'm going to do, Andrea.
Right? Like, just wait till it comes off a lease.
I'm going to phone my buddy Tim Brown of Brown Brothers Ford and say, Tim,
we don't need a brand new one.
Any gently used Mavericks?
Exactly. I was absolutely so excited about either the new Lexus GX or the Land Cruiser. I love to go car camping, but I was so disappointed when I saw that the back seats tumble and they don't lay flat for a person to sleep back there. Why are manufacturers making an SUV that has the possibility of a flat surface? My thoughts are they are designed with the outdoor person in mind, but I feel like they've missed the mark in this area. I'm going to speak specifically to the Toyota Land Cruiser. In other markets, that is a 3-row SUV. In North America, it's a 5-passenger vehicle, which is why those seats tumble.
Yeah, but Andrea, before you go any further, I just we have it sitting right over there. The Land Cruiser is sitting right there. I just shot it out yesterday. The seats fold flat.
They don't fold completely flat.
But they, for your purposes, if you wanted to put a foam pad or something under, you could make it work.
But it's not totally flat.
It's not
You're
totally
right.
flat.
I mean, if it's just slightly elevated, you could put a pillow up there and then you've got your head raised with your pillow.
You watch your Netflix.
But that is the reason why those seats tumble. And if you look in the cargo area, they kind of updated it for the North American market where they aren't cup holders, kind of like what they did with the CX-30. It looks like a tray and then maybe a cup holder. So they did tweak it slightly. When we were at the unveiling, I asked the PR team from Toyota, why did these tumble like this when there's no third row? And they couldn't really answer except that
it's cost.
there is a third row in other markets.
Yeah, it's cost. They just keep it the same, and then away you go. Here's the reality. If you're gonna buy a Land Cruiser, you're gonna bet one of those rooftop tents, right? That's what you're going to use. Mm-hmm. You could do car camping. You could put all your junk in the back. But if you're upstairs in the penthouse, that might not be too bad. But then the bears could get you. Andrea always liked the doors locked and the windows closed when we camped because bears could attack at any time.
Anything could happen in the woods. Anything could happen. I felt more comfortable locked in and safe and cozy. Zach didn't mind, trust me. Anyway.
I had a good time inside with the doors closed.
Anyway.
Parking brake on. Pro tip.
Yes, parking brake on. You know, when I put those ID Buzz pictures on my story, somebody did reply with, something like that. Don't come a knocking. Put the parking brake on. I thought that's our fault. We did bring that up in another Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Because we had three Volkswagen vans.
Curious to know if you think this beautiful province of BC and its RCMP and traffic police officers and driving schools do enough to enforce or bring awareness to the left lane on major highways is for passing and faster traffic. No, they do not. They don't do enough for roundabouts. If you've been in British Columbia, especially in Vancouver, and you go through a roundabout, it's like people are paralyzed. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing whatsoever with roundabouts. And then what about the bus lanes now? They had police officers actually pulling people over with tickets because it has a diamond and it was just for the bus. But it confuses people because if you want to make a right turn, and let's say the middle lane is bumper to bumper traffic, you just kind of scoot in there and you drive for a bit and then you make your right turn.
Listen,
it confuses people.
Back in the 90s or the early 2000s, we have Insurance Corporation of British Columbia.
Yeah.
And I phoned up the president. I don't even know how I got through to him. Think about that. I called up the president of ICBC and he called me back. And I was doing the morning news and I said, can we come up with like a road rules, right?
Yeah.
A safety thing about the basics of
Boy, that truck got close.
They got very close. They got of the basics of how to drive a car. And I cannot tell you how many people years later said, oh, those were fantastic. They were just called driving tips.
Yeah.
And it was basically things that you should do. And we need to have a way better education system of the basics because Andrea knows this all the time. People don't even know the right of way. When you come to a four-way stop, who has the right of way? It's the person on the right.
Yeah.
And then and they don't even know like the basic stuff like that. It drives me crazy. And the etiquette of driving in the left lane. You go to you want to see absolute etiquette when it comes to left lane. You go to say Germany and driving on the Autobahn, or you go to Scandinavia and Sweden. You get out of the way.
Anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, much better.
You do not sit in the left lane. You pass in the left lane, and then once you've passed, you go into the right lane. It's just the way it is. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think that ICBC should go back to doing these
basic
sorts of
stuff.
driving tips. And I think across the country, even in the US, these sorts of tips are helpful. And you can come up with some catchy phrases
That's
for
what
people.
I did, yeah.
And let's say it's just a 15-second commercial that you run on the news. I think it would benefit a lot of people, not only new drivers, but also people who are new to our country,
So you want to know-
get a driver's license and they don't quite understand the rules of the road.
So the one I had for the left lane hog was left to pass, right to save gas. So you pass on the left, then you pull over and you slow down a bit and you save some gas. Simple things like that.
And we do have to talk about HOV lanes and we do have to talk about roundabouts. There's a lot of stuff that people just don't know what they're doing and they're just paralyzed. What are your thoughts on the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 system and other similar systems from other manufacturers? I drove a vehicle with it and found it to be very hard, intrusive with the automatic braking. Hopefully there is a way to turn these systems off when winter arrives. Some things you can turn off, other things you cannot turn off. I think Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 is actually pretty good. The Chevrolet with the automatic emergency braking or forward collision warning, we were just in the Blazer. I didn't even get that close. And I got something up on the dash going, brake, brake. So
now,
they're all different.
I don't know specifically about the Toyota system, but most systems you can turn up or down the sensitivity of the forward collision if you want it close or far away. So it can be tweaked. I don't know the specifics on the Toyota. Some guy walking down the side here. I don't know what he wants. Is he bringing my lunch? He's got a sandwich. Hey, what do you got there? He's looking at us.
He thinks you're so weird. He's shaking
Well,
his
why is
head
he walking
at you
down?
now.
Why is he walking down the middle of the road with his lunch?
He gave you a rude look and he was shaking his head.
All right. Anyway, so you can go in there and adjust the sensitive. We have a Honda Civic, and it has the forward collision warning, and we bought it specifically because we got it for our new drivers in the house. And you can turn it up and down. So that's one thing that you can do. The lane keep assist is the one I always turn off. I can't stand the tugging at the wheel.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest ones that people do turn off is lane keep assist. Adaptive cruise control is another one. JD Power just released a whole study on the tech, and those were two things that people don't love at all.
Okay, one more, Andrea.
Okay, one more. Hi guys, do you have any information on the 2025 Golf R variant available in Europe only? As of now, apparently, will Canada be getting this? It has happened with other brands like Mercedes and their A-Series, AMG hatch, etc. Would also like to know if you have any information on the 2025 Toyota Corolla GR automatic and your thoughts on it.
Okay, so I am on the GTI Golf R Facebook group. So when I scroll through Facebook, I see posts and questions from other owners. And it was for GTI. They said orders open up in September, and first deliveries will be end of this year. But that was GTI, not Golf R.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit early. Volkswagen actually put out a statement saying the Golf R and GTI will be arriving at the beginning of 2025, but details on these models have not been released. The European model of the Golf R has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 329 horsepower. Rumors are that's what we're going to get as well. So you'll just have to wait for that.
So they did, I think they did say that I did read that the GTI will not get a power bump like they did in Europe.
Yeah.
And probably the Golf R will be carried forward as well. So we'll have to wait
So
and see.
maybe so.
Yeah.
Anyway, they haven't released any details, so we'll have to wait for that. So I would say aim for beginning of 2025. As for the 2025 GR Corolla, it has an 8-speed Gazoo Racing direct automatic transmission with paddle shifters. Is going to get more engine torque, going from 273 to 295. The addition of launch control, suspension enhancements, and a redesigned front bumper. Toyota says the 2025 model should arrive at dealerships this winter, which is when pricing will be announced. What do you think about an automatic coming?
Listen, there's a whole generation of people just don't know how to drive a manual and don't care to learn. And they don't need to buy a performance car with a manual because Volkswagen will sell them a Golf R now only with a dual clutch. Same with the GTI. WRX is available with a CVT and people buy that.
Yep.
So listen, if you're going to have sales of something and then you add an automatic transmission and then your sales go up, hey, that's just good business.
It's good business. So I think it'll do really well. I think some people didn't buy the GR Corolla because it only had a manual transmission. We like manuals, but I get it. Some people want an automatic.
The dual clutch automatics are actually faster, and they've upped the torque because they have to actually push the transmission along. But it'll be a faster car. It'll be better around a track.
Yeah.
It'll be better at pretty much everything because it's an automatic. Is it more fun to drive? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think,
bet you
Andrea,
it'll be good.
we'll have to go to Japan and drive it.
Yes, Toyota. How about that? If you want to get a question and follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea, every Sunday morning, I do put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Zach and I are holding coffees. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for watching.